the History Channel.
For centuries, man has dreamed of creating a machine in his own image, to be intelligent, strong, and hopefully obedient. Out of fantastic ideas came breathtaking agility and unparalleled precision. From the earliest mechanical marvels to frightening science fiction and startling modern-day reality, this is the remarkable history of robots. These are the robots of the 20th century. Magnificent machines that have lumbered off the pages of science fiction and into our lives. Today, many robots work for us. In factories, these steel-collar workers labor tirelessly, performing precision tasks, guided by a highly developed sense of sight and touch. Other robots plunge boldly into hostile environments, taking on ugly jobs far too dangerous for man to tackle. Robots are also built to entertain and amaze us. And more they are beginning to look and act like their creators. As scientists continue to make robots smarter and more agile, it's clear that these intelligent machines will have a profound effect on our future. We think of the startling advances in robots as a product of the recent leaps in technology and computers. And although the word didn't enter our language until the 1920s, these robots have been evolving for thousands of years. And man has long strived to create machines in his own image, to work, to entertain, and hopefully to remain servants and not become the masters. The first robot-like creatures date back some 5,000 years, as priests rig religious statues with moving mouths and speaking tubes to impress their awestruck followers.
As part of religious practice, going back thousands and thousands of years, there's normally been some kind of oracle, some sort of seer that gives you predictions about the crops or the weather or whether the king will die. And these figures had to come at you in some sort of secretive, magical way. And the Egyptians did this with an Anubis, which is kind of a wolf-like face with an articulated jaw. And the articulated jaw could be manipulated by the priest behind the Anubis. And then the priest could talk through a tube in through the Anubis's mouth.
By 100 AD, the Greeks had mastered the mechanics of simple machines. Hero of Alexandria used his knowledge to design devices, pour water automatically, or open temple doors. He's also reputed to have built animated creatures to entertain royalty. These machines that operate without human intervention are the ancestors of robots called automatons. During the 1300s, Persian thinker Al-Jazari wrote his treatise on automata that details robotic ideas centuries ahead of their time. He too designed mechanical creatures to entertain the king, as well as devices for serving water and washing clothes.
Al-Jazari was the first person to say, you know, we really would like to have automation in the home or automation in the castle or the temple or wherever it happens to be. And he started to think about ways that he could use water power to give energy to such a device, that it could pour water or it could serve you in some way. And this very much appeals to us, particularly today. We still talk about a robot that could do windows.
In the 1500s, Leonardo da Vinci filled his notebooks with mechanical principles that could make automatons possible. And he is said to have created a mechanical lion for Louis XII. In 1580, Rabbi Judah Loew created the legendary golem to protect the Jews of Prague. The story goes that he built a figure from mud scraped from the river Moldau and gave the creature life. However, the golem eventually ran amok and had to be destroyed. Clearly, much of the story is myth, but the theme became a fixture in robot lore for centuries. By the 1700s, the technology for clocks and music boxes had been perfected, and inventors and scientists were inspired by the intricate machines.
It's hard for us to imagine how amazing it was when somebody came up with a clock that could tell time by the minute. And then what else could a machine do, a mechanical device? And the imagination just went wild.
Swiss craftsman Pierre-Jacques Droz and others used these techniques to build complex automatons that could play musical instruments or draw pictures. The ingenious machines operated with finely tooled brass cams. Changing the cams in the devices changed the automaton's motions, creating the first programmable machines. In 1738, the Frenchman Jacques Vaucanson built his automaton duck that could walk, swim, flap its wings, and do much more.
The duck was a spectacular tour de force as an automaton. And this duck could be fed pellets. It could open its mouth, it could be fed pellets, and you would hear it grinding up the food, and of course it would eventually do what ducks do, it would defecate.
Swiss inventor Henri Meyerday's Reiter was built in the early 1800s and still draws remarkably complex pictures.
This automaton is particularly interesting in that it has the largest vocabulary of any of the machines that survive, and we think the largest one of any that was ever built. It knows how to write 3 poems and can draw 4 pictures. One of the poems is in English, but 2 of them are in French, because this machine was designed to travel all over Europe to sell tickets to pay for itself.
The Reiter also operates through sets of cams that can be varied to change the machine's motions.
There are 3 cam followers, and they are going up and down. The one on the far end over here is making the hand go higher and lower. This one will make it go to and fro, and this one will make it go from front to back. And here is the end of the revolution where the machine stops. You see it slide across a little bit, and now it's started up again.
The Reiter is wound up and powerful motors move the mechanisms.
It has 2 motors and 2 springs, each of which has the kick of 1 leg of a mule. So you add them together and it's a full mule kick. Both hind legs off the ground, flying at you.
The machine was acquired in pieces by Philadelphia's Franklin Institute at the turn of the century. At the time, it was not known who actually built the device until the curators got the automaton writing.
When we got the machine rebuilt and started reading out from its program, the last poem it writes says down at the bottom of the poem, "Écrit par l'automate de Meyerday," written by Meyerday's automaton.
Another famous automaton of the period was Wolfgang von Kempelen's Turk chess player. This machine toured the world challenging people to chess matches. The automaton even had the audacity to defeat Napoleon himself. Ultimately, though, with the help of Edgar Allan Poe, the automaton was revealed as a bizarre hoax. As it turned out, a chess-playing midget secretly climbed inside the device and operated the Turk's hands. Meanwhile, in the Orient,